Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The distance or area or volume over which something extends. The vast extent of the desert. The point or degree to which something extends. The extent of the damage. A number assigned to the ratio of two quantities. Two quantities are of the same order of magnitude if one is less than 10 times as large as the other. The number of magnitudes that the quantities differ is specified to within a power of 10. Relative importance. A problem of the first magnitude. The property of relative size or extent, whether large or small. They tried to predict the magnitude of the explosion. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. Indicator that establishes the horizontal when a bubble is centered in a tube of liquid. A flat surface at right angles to a plumb line. Park the car on the level. Direct into a position for use. Of the score in a contest. Become level or even. The ground leveled off. Tear down so as to make flat with the ground. The building was leveled. An abstract place usually conceived as having depth. A good actor communicates on several levels. A relative position or degree of value in a graded group. Having a surface without slope, tilt in which no part is higher or lower than another. Acres of level farmland. Not showing abrupt variations. Spoke in a level voice. A position on a scale of intensity or amount or quality. A high level of care is required. A structure consisting of a room or set of rooms at a single position along a vertical scale. What level is the office on? Make level or straight. Level the ground. Aim at. Level criticism or charges at somebody. Being on a precise horizontal plane. A billiard table must be level. Height above ground. The water reached ankle level. Oriented at right angles to the plumb. The picture is level. Talk frankly with. Lay it on the line. I have to level with you. Be oriented. The weather vane points north. Sail close to the wind. Repair the joints of bricks. Point a chimney. Any of 32 horizontal directions indicated on the card of a compass. He checked the point on his compass. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Her behavior points to a severe neurosis. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. A distinct part that can be specified separately in a group of things that could be enumerated on a list. The main point on the agenda was taken up first. An outstanding characteristic. His acting was one of the high points of the movie. A V shape. The cannibal's teeth were filed to sharp points. A contact in the distributor. As the rotor turns, its projecting arm contacts them and current flows to the spark plugs. The dot at the left of a decimal fraction. Direct into a position for use. Point a gun. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. He pointed to the empty parking space. The property of a shape that tapers to a sharp tip. The gun muzzle's direction. He held me up at the point of a gun. A V-shaped mark at one end of an arrow pointer. The point of the arrow was due north. An isolated fact that is considered separately from the whole. A point of information. A wall socket. An instant of time. At that point I had to leave. A very small circular shape. A row of points. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. Give a point to. Intend something, to move towards a certain goal. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. A brief version of the essential meaning of something. Get to the point. A distinguishing or individuating characteristic. He knows my bad points as well as my good points. A geometric element that has position but no extension. A point is defined by its coordinates. A linear unit used to measure the size of type, approximately 1/72 inch. A promontory extending out into a large body of water. They sailed south around the point. A style in speech or writing that arrests attention and has a penetrating or convincing quality or effect. Be positionable in a specified manner. The gun points with ease. Indicate the presence of game by standing and pointing with the muzzle. The dog pointed the dead duck. Mark, a psalm text, to indicate the points at which the music changes. Mark, Hebrew words, with diacritics. Mark with diacritics. Point the letter. 1% of the total principal of a loan. It is paid at the time the loan is made and is independent of the interest on the loan. Sharp end. He stuck the point of the knife into a tree. The object of an activity. What is the point of discussing it? The precise location of something, a spatially limited location. She walked to a point where she could survey the whole street. The unit of counting in scoring a game or contest. He scored 20 points in the first half. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. A remarkable degree of frankness. A measure for arcs and angles. There are 360 degrees in a circle. An award conferred by a college or university signifying that the recipient has satisfactorily completed a course of study. He earned his degree at Princeton summa cum laude. A position on a scale of intensity or amount or quality. It is all a matter of degree. A unit of temperature on a specified scale. The game was played in spite of the 40-degree temperature. The highest power of a term or variable. The seriousness of something, e.g., a burn or crime. Murder in the second degree. Plan, organize, and carry out an event. The neighboring tribe staged an invasion. Perform, a play, especially on a stage. We are going to stage Othello. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. At what stage are the social sciences? Any distinct time period in a sequence of events. We are in a transitional stage in which many former ideas must be revised or rejected. A small platform on a microscope where the specimen is mounted for examination. A section or portion of a journey or course. Then we embarked on the second stage of our Caribbean cruise. A large coach and four formerly used to carry passengers and mail on regular routes between towns. We went out of town together by stage about 10 or 12 miles. A large platform on which people can stand and can be seen by an audience. He clambered up onto the stage and got the actors to help him into the box. Any scene regarded as a setting for exhibiting or doing something. All the world's a stage. The theater is a profession, usually, the stage. An early movie simply showed a long kiss by two actors of the contemporary stage. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. Form the boundary of, be contiguous to. Bound by contract. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. Covered or wrapped with a bandage. An injury bound in fresh gauze. The greatest possible degree of something. What he did was beyond the bounds of acceptable behavior. Usually followed by to, governed by fate. Bound to happen. Headed or intending to head in a certain direction, often used as a combining form as in college-bound students. Children bound for school. Place limits on, extent or amount or access. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The horse bounded across the meadow. A line determining the limits of an area. The line or plane indicating the limit or extent of something. Bound by an oath. A bound official. Confined by bonds. Bound and gagged hostages. Confined in the bowels. He is bound in the belly. Held with another element, substance or material in chemical or physical union. Secured with a cover or binding, often used as a combining form. Bound volumes. The greatest possible degree of something. A line determining the limits of an area. The line or plane indicating the limit or extent of something. The limit of capability. Within the compass of education. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Within the compass of this article. Get the meaning of something. Travel around, either by plane or ship. We compassed the earth. Bring about. Accomplish. This writer attempts more than his talents can compass. Drafting instrument used for drawing circles. Navigational instrument for finding directions. The news is presented by reporters for newspapers or radio or television. They accused the paper of biased coverage of race relations. The total amount and type of insurance carried. The extent to which something is covered. The dictionary's coverage of Standard English is excellent. The extent downward or backward or inward. The quality of being physically deep. The intellectual ability to penetrate deeply into ideas. A low pitch that is loud and voluminous. The extent downward or backward or inward. The depth of the water. The intellectual ability to penetrate deeply into ideas. Degree of psychological or intellectual profundity. The attribute or quality of being deep, strong, or intense. The depth of his breathing. Usually plural, a low moral state. He had sunk to the depths of addiction. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. A wide scope. A wide and open space or area as of surface or land or sky. The face or front of a building. The direction in which something, such as a building, faces. The extent of land abutting on a street or water. Continuance in time. He complained about the length of time required. Size of the gap between two places. He determined the length of the shortest line segment joining the 2 points. A section of something that is long and narrow. A length of timber. The linear extent in space from one end to the other. The longest dimension of something that is fixed in place. The length of the table was 5 feet. The property of being the extent of something from beginning to end. The editor limited the length of my article to 500 words. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. Assign a rank or rating to. Range or extend over. Occupy a certain area. The limit of capability. The limits within which something can be effective. Range of motion. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. The range of a supersonic jet. A series of hills or mountains. The valley was between two ranges of hills. Feed as in a meadow or pasture. Move about aimlessly or without any destination, often in search of food or employment. Change or be different within limits. Estimates for the losses in the earthquake range as high as $2 billion. Mathematics. The set of values of the dependent variable for which a function is defined. A kitchen appliance used for cooking food. Lay out orderly or logically in a line or as if in a line. A large tract of grassy open land on which livestock can graze. They used to drive the cattle across the open range every spring. A place for shooting, firing or driving projectiles of various kinds. The Army maintains a missile range in the desert. A variety of different things or activities. He answered a range of questions. Have a range. Be capable of projecting over a certain distance, as of a gun. This gun ranges over 2 miles. Let eat. Range the animals in the prairie. Move forward or upward in order to touch, also in a metaphorical sense. Government reaches out to the people. The act of physically reaching or thrusting out. Be in or establish communication with. Our advertisements reach millions. The limit of capability. The limits within which something can be effective. He was beyond the reach of their fire. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Outside the reach of the law. Reach a goal. Reach a point in time, or a certain state or level. This car can reach a speed of 140 miles per hour. Place into the hands or custody of. To extend as far as. The sunlight reached the wall. To exert much effort or energy. To gain with effort. Reach a destination, either real or abstract. The water reached the doorstep. Electronic equipment that provides visual images of varying electrical quantities. A magnifier of images of distant objects. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Within the scope of an investigation. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. The ambit of municipal legislation. The mathematical value toward which a function goes as the independent variable approaches infinity. Decide upon or fix definitely. The greatest possible degree of something. To the limit of his ability. Restrict or confine within limits. I limit you to 2 visits to the pub a day. Place limits on, extent or amount or access. Limit the time you can spend with your friends. The boundary of a specific area. Final or latest limiting point. The greatest amount of something that is possible or allowed. There are limits on the amount you can bet. As far as something can go. The, usually elliptical, path described by one celestial body in its revolution about another. He plotted the orbit of the moon. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. In the political orbit of a world power. A particular environment or walk of life. He's out of my orbit. Move in an orbit. The moon orbits around the Earth. The bony cavity in the skull containing the eyeball. The path of an electron around the nucleus of an atom.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.